Hey guys, so I just started a video and then I accidentally pressed the stop thing. So I already kind of started things. So I'll just kind of walk you through what I did. What I'm making is a baked tofu dish, and I'm going to top it with caramelized onions and mushrooms. And so what I did was I marinated the tofu in balsamic vinegar, fresh rosemary, a tablespoon of yeast so that when I bake it, it gets a little bit crusty. What else is in there? Some olive oil, some water, and I believe that's all. Oh, and some maple syrup to give it some sweetness. Okay, so what I did is I'll show you what I did here. You're supposed to marinate it for a few hours. I only marinated it for like an hour. So I took the tofu and some of the marinade and I kind of just made like a little package out of it so that all the flavors stay together. So I'm going to marinate this at 400 degrees for 40 minutes. And then I left some of this marinade. Here's the marinade. I left some of that aside because I'm going to top everything with it when it's all done. I'm going to leave that over here. And right now I have these onions sauteing, and I'm going to saute them a couple more minutes and then add my mushrooms. And I thinly slice these ones because I don't want, for this particular dish, I don't want that thick, chunky onion. So I'm just going to salt this. I'm running out of salt. We'll get some more. And some pepper. And I think give that a little shake. Because my cookie's shaking. Okay, so now I'm going to add my portabello mushrooms. So here I have the beautiful portabello mushrooms that I just thinly sliced because again, we don't want, because this tofu, the tofu is delicate on its own, so we want everything else to be delicate also, so it doesn't overpower the tofu, because that's supposed to be the main star. And this looks like a lot, but it's going to shrink down, obviously. I'm going to throw those in there. And I know I'm not drinking, but I'm going to cook with some wine because you can't make mushrooms without some red wine. Oh my God. So I'm going to let those cook down for just a minute and then add some red wine. I'm going to turn my heat up. Mix all that together. And you can do this two ways. You can either saute the onions and mushrooms on the pan, or you can bake them in the oven and then just top the tofu with the the roasted onions and mushrooms. But I particularly like caramelized onions and mushrooms on the grill. They seem to be I don't know. I just personally like it that way better. But it's totally up to you. It's good both ways. So I'm going to let that cook down a little bit and then I'll add some seasoning and the wine. So I was watching the Food Channel yesterday, and I was noticing that all they really talk about with the dishes that they make is flavors, and this flavor goes good with this, and you know, this adds some butter here and some sugar here and you know, some cheese here and some sausage here and whatever, because it's going to make it taste better, this and that. And I remember I was like making a point to hear if they were going to talk about at all nutritional value of anything and how it's going to actually support and benefit your body. All they talk about is because it tastes good. And it's so unfortunate that people don't pay enough attention to nutrition of food, because that's the point of food. The point of food is to fuel your body into to heal it and make it well. And so many people just eat because it tastes good, and that's not the purpose of eating. Yes, it's supposed to taste good, obviously, but the idea of it being healthy for you and fueling you is just as important, if obviously not more important. But when you research it, you figure out ways where it fuels your body and it also tastes really amazing. So just be aware of your body more and how food affects it. You know, if you eat certain things and you don't feel so good, maybe think about it, it's because of the food, maybe not because of some other excuse you make up. You know, go to the culprit, because you are what you eat, literally. A lot of diseases that are around these days weren't around, 100 years ago, when people ate wholesome foods that weren't chemically created or processed. All the diseases, I'm going to go out on a whim and say all the diseases out there, unless it's genetic, it's from something wrong that you did to your body. Hate me for saying that. That's just from research I've done. That's what seems to make the most sense. Okay, so I think my mushrooms and onions are ready for some wine. Well, first I'm going to season them with the rest of the little salt I have. I might have to get out my cheapy salt. A little bit of pepper. And as much as I want to take a drink of this, I'm not going to. Just going to put some in the mushrooms. The mushrooms can drink it. Jessica can't. So I thought of a good way to help with dealing with not drinking. So I'm just gonna start like making pretend cocktails. So like I'll get like a cocktail glass and put like San Pellegrino in it with some ice and like lemon. So I pretend it's like a vodka tonic. Or I was thinking like pomegranate juice in a wine glass, so it looks like it's wine. Only do that like, when I'm out socially or, having dinner with my boyfriend or whatever, so that, I feel like I'm drinking. I don't know. I felt like that's a good way to maybe get more comfortable being in social scenes without drinking. So I'm going to try that. Oh my God, that wine smells so good. Okay. So, anyways. All right, this looks so good. Smells delicious. There's something about mushrooms, especially good mushrooms, and wine and onions that are like just amazing. And while that's cooking, I'm actually gonna put some garlic salt in there because I didn't put any. Usually I, would add garlic. But I didn't do any garlic, so I'm just going to do some garlic salt. Not too much. I can throw away my salt. Oh my God. This is the best. Trader Joe's has these like grinders. Like all their seasonings, or a lot of them, most of them, have grinders built in. So you don't have to buy a special grinder and buy, the big thing of sea salt. They have it already here in the chunky sea salts and the peppercorns and these built-in grinders. They're great and they're cheap. It's like $1.99 and it lasts. Well, with the way I cook, it doesn't last that long, but for most people, it lasts pretty long. And it's really good. And the best is the Himalayan sea salt. They have some pink Himalayan sea salt at Trader Joe's, and apparently that is the healthiest kind of salt you can eat, that you can consume is Himalayan. I read about it today. I forgot why, but apparently it has more more nutrients, but it's the pink ones. It's not as salty, but it's way better for you. It's pink. Okay, so I'm just gonna let this reduce, let the wine absorb all the way. Oh my gosh, my kitchen smells so good. Yeah, the trick was cutting these nice and thin because it's cooking down really nicely. And I'll show you what it looks like. I wish you could smell it. It smells so good. Whoops. I lost it. Okay. So that's that. It looks so good. And then I'm going to, when it's all done, I'm going to top it. I'm going to, what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay out the tofu. And then I'm going to top it with this. And then I'm going to top all of it with the rest of that. So those are going to be in the oven for another 25 minutes or so. So you're obviously not going to sit around and wait for that. So when it's done, I'm going to plate it and take a pretty picture, and I'll have it on my website, lovingvegangoddess.com, and YouTube Vegan Cooking, and Facebook Vegan Goddess. So just by the way this smells, I know it's going to be so good. And it's a creative, savory way to enjoy tofu. Super healthy, no fat, barely any oil except for a little bit in that marinade. Tons of protein from the mushrooms and the tofu. And just all kinds of goodness. So I hope it tastes good. Oh, the rosemary too. It's going to give it that really, really savory, like almost like poultry flavor. So you get that the meatiness from the rosemary and the mushrooms. I think that meat lovers will love this just as much as a vegan. So anyways, I hope you try it. I hope you love it. I hope you're staying healthy and active, and you feel great, and you're just fucking awesome. Okay, well, it's almost the weekend. I hope you guys all have a really good weekend. Spend it with good people. Think happy thoughts. Replace negative thoughts with positive thoughts always. Okay, peace and love. See you next time.